Sir, may I come in?
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
2018 BTech,
Yes, sir.
mechanical engineering.
Yes, sir.
Huh? What about 3 years?
Sir, since I graduated, I have been preparing for UPSC Civil Services examination only. Yes, sir.
It's already 3 years only preparation.
Yes, sir. Mostly 1 year was almost wasted due to the COVID lockdown.
No any job, no any experience, no.
No, sir. Since I graduated, I had a job offer from one of the coaching institutes in Kota itself. But then I decided that I had to pursue civil services, and since then,
What is the use of your mechanical engineering now in administration?
sir, mechanical engineering as a graduation subject has taught me a plethora of things, both improving my personality also and even the technical knowledge that can come very handy in the administration. For example, when it comes to non-academic, the skills like leadership qualities, teamwork when we had to build the project in the final year of our mechanical engineering, problem solving skills that are very important today. In
What is the virtue of leadership?
Sir, the virtue.
In word, only word. I want only word.
Pardon, sir, I didn't get you.
हमको शब्द में चाहिए लीडरशिप के क्या गुण होते हैं. What is the virtue of the leadership?
Sir, creating more leaders, I believe that has to do with leadership.
He should be courageous. एक मैंने बता दिया, और बताइए आगे.
Yes, sir. So it should be a leader should be courageous. He should be punctual. He should be caring for the people whom he is leading. Apart from that, he should have empathy and compassion for the people whom he is working. He should be a man of impeccable integrity also, sir. These are
Okay, one thing, Mr. Fayyaz.
Yes, sir.
Now there is a demand of the electrical engine.
Yes, sir.
Very much, I think, popular in this country now. But the vehicle of the electrical vehicle, the price is very high.
Yes, sir.
Why this is happening going on? Why not it is a low price for the poor people, for the general people, approaching price? What is the reason?
Sir, the high prices of electrical vehicles has mainly to do with the engines and the battery that goes into making them. For example, when it comes to the conventional diesel and petrol engines, a lot of research has already been done in that. That has led to the reduced prices of those vehicles. However, when it comes to electrical vehicles, the maintenance of batteries, the infrastructure that is needed to be created for charging, the construction of the specialized kind of engines that has to be going into electrical vehicles, that are some of the primary reasons due to which electrical vehicles are more expensive than the conventional vehicles. However, the government is doing much to promote them through cross subsidies, building infrastructure for charging points for e-vehicles, etc. So gradually, I hope in the future the prices will eventually come down, sir, with more and more people.
Do you know gearbox?
Yes, sir, I have read it in my graduation.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is this? What is the function of the gearbox?
Sir, from what I am able to recall right now, the gear.
This is very basic thing I am asking.
Yes, sir. So the gearbox is basically for transmission purposes of the vehicle. The number of teeth that the various gears are having, that helps in, for example, providing power to the vehicle, speed and transmission of the vehicle. That I can recall is the primary purpose of the gearbox in an automobile. For example, when we are changing the speeds, if I can recall, so for example, if we are going through an incline, the gear has to be like the first gear on which power is more, the speed may be compromised. But when we transmit to second, third gear, the speed has to be more, acceleration can be less. So accordingly, that is the function of the gearbox in an automobile.
So one question. What is the difference between gear and lever?
Sir, lever is basically for reducing the human efforts. For example, like there are 3 kinds of levers: the first order, second order, the third order, depending on where the fulcrum and the load is being put. And so gearbox has to be technically when it comes, I can recall that it has to technically do with the automobiles itself. This is what I can.
Reducing the effort of the human.
Yes, sir. Sir, reducing the effort.
Some technical differentiations.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to recall right now. I'll go and read more about it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Recently, there is a merger of the banking system.
Yes, sir.
Why government is promoting this type of merging? What is the motivation behind this?
Sir, one of the major problems that the Indian banks are facing, since we have a plethora of different kinds of banks owned by different people, both commercial as well as public holdings, the issue of rising non-performing assets that has been on the rise. Secondly, the government's logic behind the merger is that with reduced manpower and more integrated functioning of the banks,
Do you know about black bank? I think last budget there is a term already introduced by the Honorable Finance Minister budget Bhasan, that is black bank. What is this black bank? Recently it is already announced and introduced.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about it.
It's very much popular, black bank.
Sorry, sir, I'll go and read more about it. Right now, I'm not aware about it.
Government is already, I think, promoting privatization.
Yes, sir.
This is good for our nation. This is good for the democracy.
Sir, the current finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, she has stated in the parliament that privatization is the stated policy of the government, and it is working on the motto that the government has no business to be in the business. With that regard, since the independence, our economy and everything was mostly government control, and that had led to almost a crisis of balance of payments in 1991. With that regards, when LPG reforms were introduced, privatization has helped much for the economy. They has brought in investments from the foreign countries. Our FDI is record all-time high this year, even during the corona pandemic. The level of technology that has been brought, consumers are having more and more choices, and that has also led to the competitiveness of domestic industry.
Okay, anthropology or optional, eh?
Yes, sir.
One question from anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Fingerprint.
Yes, sir.
Is there any relation with your optional paper, anthropology?
Yes, sir. We do study that in physical anthropology. Yes, sir.
What is this? Who is the founder of the fingerprint? Who has done the research on this topic, fingerprint? And who is the expert? Who was the expert?
So fingerprint technology is basically used in forensic anthropology, but who discovered and who is the actual expert of the technology, the names I'm not able to recall at the moment, sir.
But what is this? How it is related to your optional subject?
Yes, sir. Sir, physical anthropology, one of the branches of anthropology that has to do with the study of human beings, their anatomy, and one of the sub branches of that is forensic anthropology. Fingerprints, the technology of fingerprints or can be used for solving crimes. It is said that even the twins are having different kinds of fingerprints, and no two humans have same fingerprints that can be used to identify.
Oldest tribal in India? Do you know about it?
Oldest tribal, sir.
In India. It's very much popular.
Yes, sir.
This is, I think, in your subject.
Yes, sir.
Syllabus.
Sir, the various researches that have been conducted by anthropologists to identify the who is the oldest tribal, there have been various differing views regarding this. Some anthropologists have conducted research in the Andamans, and they have said the Sentinelese can be said to be one of the oldest tribes of India. Some have named the Chenchus that live in the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh states to be the oldest tribals. But sir, I believe rather than finding who is the oldest or who is the indigenous people of the India, anthropology focuses more on how we can approach for their welfare and for their benefits. So,
What is the use of anthropology in administration?
One more question I'm
Yes, sir.
adding.
Yes.
Which is a more useful, your mechanical engineering or anthropology in administration?
Yeah.
List that priorities.
Sir, I believe since in anthropology we study applied anthropology also, and anthropology in public administration as a separate topic, which teaches us how policy framing can be done, culturally sensitive policies can be framed. That has to be a study subject of anthropology. So, anthropology and mechanical engineering. The scope of mechanical is, I believe, it can be mostly limited to the technical know-hows, the technical areas. For example, if someone is posted in the research and development department or the Ministry of Defense, for example, ISRO, etc., in that fields, mechanical engineering is very useful. However, I believe holistically, if we have to see, anthropology can be more useful in public administration, since it teaches us the qualities of cultural relativism. The scope is very wide. For example, languages are also studied, and as an administrator, we
एज किसको दोगे आप?
Yes, sir.
दोनों में से एज किसको दोगे आप? आपको चूज करना है कोई एक चीज.
Sir, that is a very difficult question to answer, but from what all I have studied, I believe anthropology can have more significance in public administration.
So why you should opted the anthropology in your optional,
Yes, sir.
not in your graduation?
So to be honest, at that time, I was not aware that even anthropology is a subject that can be studied. Even that was during my preparation only in my final year of engineering graduation, that one of my seniors who was also preparing for the civil services exam, he was also having the same optional. And with time, I got to know about it. I got interested in it, and that is why I chose.
So it is not about interest, it is about the success ratio in UPSC. First you wanted to be an engineer,
Yes, sir.
good job, good salary, so you opted mechanical engineer, and then you find out you want to be a good administrator, so you opted anthropology. So are you thinking, are you opportunist? I'm just asking.
Yes, sir. Sir, I will say that I was going by the fundamental duties that have been enshrined in our constitution. The fundamental duties ask the citizens to develop a scientific temper in them, and that was inculcated in me through my study of the mechanical engineering. As well as the fundamental duties also ask us to develop a feeling of humanism, and that has been very much inculcated through the study of anthropology for me. So I believe both of them are very important, and both of them will help me in public administration.
Sir,
Just tell me,
Yes.
why Kota emerged as an educational hub?
Sir, there are several factors that led to the emergence of Kota as an education hub. Firstly, the edupreneurs or the educational entrepreneurs in the form of Vinod Bansal. He was the first person who started the coaching classes in Kota, taking inspiration from FITZI Institute of Delhi. And as with time, the success of the students who were studying from him grew, more and more coachings and other tuition classes started to open in Kota. Secondly, sir, it also has to do with the decline in the industries in India. Many of the industries like JK Industries, then we had the IL industry, these were closed in Kota, and people, they were in the lack of employment opportunities at that time. So they migrated to the service sector of the coaching sector. This was one of the reasons. Third, sir, I believe the peaceful and serene environment of Kota, the low crime rate, these also benefited the city of Kota such that the educational industry was developed there.
Developed there. Okay. Actually, one more question is,
Yes, sir.
central government is not ready to publish the caste-based census of 2011.
Yes, sir.
But the OBC wing of the ruling party
Yes, sir.
recently organized a meeting and at Delhi and announces that in our union of ministers we have the certain percentage of OBCs minister in the union cabinet.
Yes, sir.
That is, do you think that that is the controversy of the ruling party?
Sir, I would say that it is not a controversy, but it is the beauty of democracy that dissenting views are also allowed to prosper and put their views.
It is better to say contradiction of the ruling party. Is it not?
Sir, I think democracy is all about contradictions only. That dissenting and the different views of the people are there, which makes the working of any political party beautiful and efficient. So, with that regards, if it can be seen, sir, that it is only contributing to the strengthening of the inter-party democracy also in the ruling party. I would like to see in that.
Actually, what do you think about the caste-based census?
Yes.
I want to know your personal opinion.
Sir, the last caste-based census was conducted in 1931 by the British government, and then in 2011 a socio-economic caste census was done, and the results of which was not published owing to some controversies in that. Sir, I personally believe in my limited knowledge that yes, caste census should be conducted since government is running a lot of welfare policies, for example, reservations under Article 15 and 16 for various castes like scheduled caste and OBCs also. The caste census data will help in proper channeling of those and proper directing of those welfare schemes and subsidies that we have been given. With regards to the, if there can be some controversy relating to the release of the data, then I believe an overall picture can be released to the people.
In 2011,
Yes, sir.
Congress was the ruling party.
Yes, sir.
In this time, Congress demanding to release this data.
Yes, sir.
But why Congress has itself not released this data when he was in ruling party? NDA came in the power in 2014.
Yes, sir.
That is also in contradiction.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
Sir, I think that has to be done with, that has to do with the democratic politics of our country. One party who is in opposition, they oppose their own policies that they were about to bring when they were in the ruling party. So, sir, that has to do with. That
It
a
is
political-
healthy democracy. Is it healthy democracy?
Sir, I believe India is a healthy democracy by seeking accountability from the ruling government and seeking answers from them that why a certain policy.
Recently, you have seen so many cohets in the parliament.
Yes, sir.
It is right or wrong? Or how can you see these events?
Sir, according to the PRS data, the Parliamentary Research Service, the recent monsoon session of the Parliament, it worked only for almost about 21 hours itself, when it was scheduled to be working for 21 days. That has to do with the ruckus and the commotion and the disrupting of the Parliament created by the political parties. Sir, Parliament was supposed to be a place for debate, a deliberation, scrutinizing of the government policies. And when Parliament is running and not disrupted, then only those things can be done.
Just tell me what is Nebo ports. Have you any idea about Nebo ports of China and recent development at this port? NIBO, Nebo ports. That is the third largest port of the world.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect that at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Achha, just a minute.
Yes.
And just tell me the delta plus variant. What is delta plus variant?
Sir, the prevalent variant of coronavirus during the second wave in the country, that was termed the Delta variant that originated in India. After the ending of the second wave, the virus mutated more and there were certain changes that could be seen in the original strain of the Delta virus. the new emerging strain of that was termed as Delta Plus, which had a few cases in our country also, but no significant issue was created out of it. So that was it, sir.
You mentioned the forensic, right? Recently, Home Ministry launched a new program to establish or strengthen the evidence collection methodology in forensic science. Could you please tell me the name of that initiative by the Home Ministry?
Sir, what I can recall is one of the bills that the government is trying to pass. I think the DNA technology bill that has to do with that. Okay. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware about that.
What is the forensic evidences, status of forensic evidences in front of our courts? Status of forensic evidences in front of our court, especially in sexual harassment cases.
Sir, as per my limited knowledge with regards to this topic goes, the forensic evidences are, from what I can recall, admissible in our judicial system, but I'm not much aware about this topic, sir. So that is what I all know.
Recently, Chief Justice of India mentioned about the third degree or torture system in police system, and the police said because we don't have any scientific forensic data sampling collection methodology, तो वो सिंपल एक ही तरीका है, लाठी इज एवरीथिंग, और उसी से बुलवा लो कि कौन क्या है. So in that particular, judiciary is a system. Judiciary is a system, not a one-to-one demand and supply mechanism. So in that case, आपकी जो भी नॉलेज है इसमें, आप फॉरेंसिक जो एविडेंसेस है, कलेक्शन मैथोलॉजीज हैं, उनको कहाँ तक सही मानते हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ द जुडिशरी, इन टर्म्स ऑफ द पुलिस ऑल्सो? आप क्लियर है मेरे क्वेश्चन को लेके? प्लीज.
Sir, the current Chief Justice of India had highlighted the issue of third degree treatment and police torture and police and judicial custodies, and that has highlighted the sorry state of policing affairs in our country. And yes, police has time and again, sometimes not officially, but has stated that third degree treatment is one of the way to get to the truth of the situation. However, various research and studies have shown that forensic studies and psychological studies also can be better employed for getting to the truth of the situation. That has been done in various places like United Kingdom. There was a case study that was conducted in Indonesia also, that a psychologist or a psychotherapist would be a better trained person to get to the truth of that of the investigation.
No, in terms of the forensic directly, I'm just asking about that because CJI also stated that there's a scientific evidences will be more helpful rather than the third degree. What is your opinion? And what kind of scientific evidences we can establish in the forensic methodologies or investigation methodologies right now?
Sir, I completely agree with the views of the Chief Justice of India that in a democracy like India, there is no place for third degree treatment or torture, and various reforms have also ensured that these kind of incidents are reducing in the country. With regards to the forensic technology that can be used, sir, for example, the blood sampling, the fingerprinting and the DNA fingerprinting technology that has been recently very much developed in the country's forensic labs, that is also coming off very helpful in these situations.
Are you satisfied with the status of the forensic labs in India?
No, sir, I would not say that I am satisfied. Yes, there is a pretty much scope for improvement in that, since most of our labs are not professionally accredited. Equipments and machines are lacking. There is lack of manpower and professional experts who are running those labs also. So there are chances of some mishap in case of judicial investigation. So the labs needs to be strengthened, sir, as per the guidelines that has been provided by the Department of Biotechnology also, and that will help us in better solving of crimes and improving our investigation systems.
Okay, WHO I think was in controversy some time ago. Recently also there is a problem. Do you know about it? What type of controversy was going on during Corona crisis?
Yes, sir. So during the first and the second wave of the Corona pandemic, there was this controversy that WHO had given a preliminary clean chit to the controversy that the coronavirus may have had some lab origins or it may have originated in China. But the WHO has recently rectified its stance and has been commending or recommending to China that the Wuhan lab should be opened for foreign agencies to investigate the origins of the coronavirus. However, China has been resisting that and seeking apologies from WHO with regards to.
No, American president was very much invited to WHO. He already given the statement that the WHO is the, I think statement, WHO is the part of the China
Part
now.
China's body.
उन्होंने मुखौटा भी बोला था शब्द, ये मुखौटा है चाइना का, ये शब्द यूज किया था, मुखौटा शब्द यूज किया था, मुझे ध्यान है.
Yes, sir. These kind of allegations were put by the former President Donald Trump, but I think, sir, that has to do with the politics of the US and China trade relations and the tussle between them that is going on.
What is your opinion after Joe Biden, especially the relationship with the Indian context? The Trump was better for the Indian society or Indian political system, or Joe Biden?
Sir, Indo-US relations during the presidential tenure of President Donald Trump, they reached great heights. We have signed so many security documents like CAATSA we were signing, LEMOA and other for sharing of intelligence and our security arrangements, the military forces. With that regards, the relations had reached great height. When it comes to the presidency of Joe Biden, the initial signals have been there that yes, to contain China, India will be an important partner for USA in the context of Indo-Pacific relations. So, sir, I believe the Indo-US relations are stated to reach even greater heights during the presidency of Joe Biden, and I think India will emerge as a much.
But there is a general perception that the Mr. Trump as a president was very much better for the Indian society and Indian political system. This is general perception.
Yes, sir. Sir, I do agree that various policy decisions of Mr. Donald Trump were very much beneficial for the Indian economy and Indian polity also in international affairs. However, various decisions that he had taken were also against India. For example, he were again and again demanding the opening of Indian systems, Indian markets to US companies, that India is not doing much to fight the climate change. He was also alleging that India should withdraw its developing country status from the WTO. So it was a mixed bag, sir.
Okay, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank
Your
you,
interview
sir.
is over.
Thank you, sir.
But there are 2-3 things. Your eye contact is not proper. Sometimes you are looking down.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you are looking somewhere. And when you are recalling the answer, you are looking somewhere.
उस टाइम सर
एकदम आई कांटेक्ट तो सामने रखना है. आई कांटेक्ट कभी भी
उस time
बोर्ड
सर,
मेंबर से हट के नहीं. आप जब आप बोलते हो तो कभी कभी आईज अपना वीडियो देखना, उसमें क्या हो रहा है ना कि एकदम से कहीं और देख रहे हो आप, बोर्ड मेंबर से नहीं देख रहे हो.
यस
या तो नीचे देख रहे हो या कहीं और देख रहे हो आप, क्योंकि हम तो ध्यान
जी
से
सर.
देखते रहते हैं.
जी सर.
या तो नीचे देख रहे हो या कहीं और. तो इसको अवॉइड करना है. ये हैबिट में होता है, बहुत बच्चों को रिकॉल करते हैं या फ्लुएंटली जब बोलने लगते हैं तो नीचे देखने लगेंगे, इधर देखने लगेंगे, जबकि वो निगेटिव जाएगा. बोर्ड मेंबर कहेगा कि अच्छा ये इंटरव्यू देने आया है 20 मिनट के लिए, तो मेरे सामने नहीं देख सकता है ये. इसी को तो प्रॉपर आई कांटेक्ट हम बोलते हैं, जो प्रॉपर आई कांटेक्ट रहना चाहिए. क्योंकि ये प्रशासन में क्या है कि प्रशासन
उसका ध्यान रखूंगा सर.
उसमें जितने मैंने इशूज़ पर आपके मुद्दे, जितने मुद्दों पर आपके विचार मांगे, उसको आप बहुत अच्छे से टैकल नहीं कर पाए, तो उसको इम्प्रूवमेंट की ज़रूरत है.
लिख दिया है सर मैंने.
ठीक है. तो जितना भी आपको मैंने अभी बोला, वहाँ पे कास्ट बेस्ड सेंसस का है, पार्लियामेंट का मामला था, डेमोक्रेसी का मामला था, और इसी प्रकार डेल्टा प्लस वेरिएंट का मामला था, तो इन सबको थोड़ा स्पेसिफिक नॉलेज आप ले.
यस सर, उसका ध्यान रखूंगा. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू सर.